It's
Perfect.
easier.
So
Well, it's written.
I'm sure you have 10 minutes to explain what it means.
Yes, sure. Um, just, so here we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Mateusz Wojdyło. I'm glad to present Share.P, and I hope you like you did like the chocolate. Yeah. So what we do, we do a quite simple thing. We finally, after 80 years, we're the first company that entirely digitalized the whole parking industry, including charging of the electric cars, because it's really binding. Some say we are Airbnb for EV charging points and parking spots. We say we just give people make money whenever they want, how they like, 24/7. And everything you are going to see here, we built within the last 15 months, starting January 2021. So the problem of parking, I think everybody know. I hope you didn't have many problem of parking today or even last days, but most of the people does. This is not flexible. You cannot really rent it as you like, where you like, and the promises in the buildings are closed only to certain people with some card and access. So it's kind of analog. And of course, charging stations. This is a booming market, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And it's a still big question mark, and most of the people are doing it wrong just by saying, let's install more and more charging stations. This is not a solution. Our solution is to install a special system from Share.P, which takes nearly about from 30 to 60 minutes to digitalize any kind of existing parking infrastructure. Either it's a one-gate infrastructure or it's a 14-gate shopping mall, for example, in Wrocław. We do it in a fully automatic way. Then you have access to sign a contract for a different timing, and it's available in the app. And when we come to the app, this is it. It's available in 5 languages on App Store and Google Store. With the app, you can find a place, book the parking, reserve for future or right now, get a ticket, open the gate, or even multiple gates if they are like this, and pay for that with all possible payment systems that are right now in the market. What is interesting is our cooperation with SBB. It's the biggest Swiss public transport operator, which with the cooperation with them right now, we are able to sell every kind of ticket in whole Switzerland, including the parking. So with this, we can create micro park and rides, and we can plan your trip. We can actually let you know that if you're a car driver, we can tell you how you can save time, money, and CO2 by leaving the car a little bit outside of city center and then continuing with the tram or a bike or a bus. And then because of this, we tell you, you saved money. That's the first most important thing for people that are parkers. Then the second, you save time. So you can spend the time with your friends or playing games or with your wife or a husband. Or, of course, what's most important, sustainability, you save CO2, even if you drive a diesel car. We have already customers, they like our solution. And among all of those things, the one most important one is that it's simple. They have a panel, they don't need to come anymore, they don't need to give you a key, sign a paper contract. Since 8 years, we are the first ones who finally solved the problem, which seems quite simple, but yeah. What is also important is that charging stations, you probably have seen those pictures of charging stations on the street. It's not going to work. Cities are banning this now because it's not really going forward this way, and it's extremely expensive to install. We need charging stations because this is how the market have been changed. It's not the future, it's already now. All the producers are going for electric cars, that's it. So when you install a charging station in underground parking, for every parking spot, you're not going to have enough energy for a building, even if you have a building, if you have a charging energy management system. Forget it. So our idea is to share the charging stations, but you cannot do it with your phone because there is no cellular connection underground. We solve that. Our app works underground, even on -3, without internet. You can pay for charging based on the conditions that the building owner sets or the owner of the charging stations and the timing. So this is a part of our ecosystem. It's a gate module. It's a small, tiny IoT component which can work with any kind of gating system available right now in the world, like Skidata, Gilligan, Schein-Bachmann, FACT, Doma, Kaba, etc. Mobile app, admin panel, really user-friendly, and module that is controlling, software that is controlling all the charging stations in the market right now. We have a couple of other R&D projects, of course, because it would not happen without this. I mean, many startups or companies, it's more than 156 right now in the Europe, are focusing on parking or charging. This is not even more than 500, in fact, softwares, but they are focusing on parking or charging on the street. It's 8% of the market. We're going for the rest. So we have a couple of projects in a consortium with University of Zurich, and some of the patents. The business model is quite simple. We charge 399 for the module, and then for a gate and per gate, and the whole parking can be managed by our system in a hybrid mode. So the previous systems also still functions, and we take the commission from the payment and commission from the charging stations. We already have some tractions. One of the newest one and the freshest one is the Google Switzerland. It's the real estate of them, because the story is simple. They all rent the buildings, and each building have the different system, and Google does not allow to integrate with themselves. So we are a good partner for that, because our system can verify Google employees easily and let them rent the parkings and pay for them internally. Yeah. This is one of the graphs that I think everybody experience in their life in a shopping mall or somewhere in the parking, doing this snake move. But I recommend more to go to the gym and make the gymnastic and just use our system. It's easier. We operate in one of the closest big places to Wolves. It's, for example, one of the biggest shopping malls in the center of Wrocław, Arcady Wrocławskie, including 14 gates and all the office spaces and special deals for the cinemas, etc. And for example, National Music Center parking under the Wrocław. The market is huge, and it's not only about this, what I'm showing you, it's about the hardware selling to parkings or hardware selling as EV charging stations. But to tell you something interesting, the value of the fuel that people put into the car in average in the whole world per year, it's $5.4 trillion. According to Shell and BP, 40% of that money will go to EV charging. We are just dealing with this. And we don't care about the hardware, let them install it. We just control the flow through it. Yeah, those are predictions for the 2023 revenue, because right now the way we operate, it's quite simple to get, as you actually know, with the big partners like B2B, signing a contract, it's a big hassle. So we prefer to give our solution for free as a start, because it's an entry point, and then just monetize it within the next 5-10 years. We want a couple of things in the meantime. It's just a little bit of them. We have a lot of users using our system, and we have also a lot of organic users coming to use our platform, which is free for everybody on our website, which is more than 370,000 users with the last 10 months. And since January, we have active users using our system, which is more than 28,000 actually by today. We won also the United Nations Development Program grant to develop our system in Central East Europe. And to integrate the sustainable mobility in cities. And that would not happen without the team, which is I would say, most crucial for Share.P. It's extremely experienced in IoT, in technology, in design, in architect, and all the people in the team are programmers, including the rest, which are not in the slide. Yeah, we've been already in some media, covering Switzerland, covering Germany, and I'm looking forward to have a discussion with our mentors.
Thank you very much. Perfect on time.
All right, thank you. No, very cool. I mean, you're definitely riding the waves of all the big trends now, right? Sustainability and new mobility and EVs. I think the presentation was great. If you were to say, this is my main impediment for more growth, what would you say that is today?
I didn't understand the question, sorry.
So, everything looks, up and to the right in your presentation. If you were to say, this is the one thing that's hindering me from growing faster, from being more successful, what would that be today?
Money. Actually, last 12th in Warsaw, we had a meeting with Porsche and with Axel Springer. Mm-hmm. They've been also partner. And they said that Porsche invested so much money into e-mobility right now because they said that it's the way to do it. It's like Elon Musk did it in 2009 with Tesla superchargers. Let me explain you this. In a street where you live and where you live, there is a cable with a certain size. And this cable can provide you only a certain amount of energy. If you are the first one who put the charging stations, then nobody else will be able, because the community will not pay for the bigger cable, but you are legally bound to use the cable if you will to. And our goal is to scale up faster, to get more fundings, just to make the installations. Because it doesn't matter even if the people don't use it today. But we know, everybody knows that all the car manufacturers, they switch to EV. So the people, predictions for just for Europe, according to TÜV Germany, it's 63 million charging stations we need. Now we have only 3%. So who's gonna have more money to just install them, but not on the street, on the real estate buildings, B2B. So money, this is only limit we have.
Okay, I also really like the idea, but I remember a few years ago I talked with a startup, let's say the idea only about the sharing parking spaces, not with the chargers, but only, and they had the main problem with the office spaces and the private home spaces. I mean, like, for example, it was quite easy, to talk with the public parkings, to connect to the system, or talk with the, let's say, commercial center parkings and like a lot of parkings. But there was a problem that office parkings, it was like due to COVID, so the office parkings was totally empty, and it was like everybody can use it. But there was an issue, the security issue problem, that the offices do not want to, if they prefer, to lose the money, then enter, that allowed to, to enter this parking, the other people, yeah. So this was the problem, and also I see, and this was also the same problem with the the private apartment parkings, where simply people were living in these apartments don't like the others to to walk through their parking because they are lefting there some their things. Yeah. So do you challenging this problem or?
Thank you for the question. It's a very good one actually, and I think I might know this company even.
I guess yeah.
But because there's only few ones that really tried. What is the difference between us and everybody else before? First of all, we have our own technology. It's the first very important thing. That's why we are able to give it away for free, because we build it and it's low cost. It's extremely low cost. And because we examined the market before we started, we did the MVP as it was supposed to be. and we bootstrap. So we really had a feeling how to do it on the beginning, not like, busy and so on. What is important here to answer your question is that, do you know me now? You know my name, yes? You see my face, theoretically, yeah. So right now, the problem in the office spaces they were facing and in other places was that they were trying to make the app that doesn't have any user KYC. I already did 2 exits, so it's not my first startup. And previous one, I built an insurance company. I know about KYC quite a lot. And I know it's actually very important to know your customer. And if you know your customer, it's not a stranger anymore. It's the person you know. It's actually, right now, most best platform to rent parkings, share parkings is Facebook. You don't know a person there at all. And people still do it. You rent your parking to somebody, you sign the contract on a piece of paper on the boot of your car, you give him a remote controller to the garage, and you have no control about this person. In our case, he gets the button in the app. If you don't like, he don't pay or whatever, you just switch off the button. That's it. So the security is on a high level, and because we also verify the way you entry, you have the recordings of that, and you can verify the cars in the parking. So the security is on the level that Google accepts and SBB accepts, which actually could be a good sign in this.
Really appreciate it. And I'm sure that there are lots of other questions, but we're running out of time.
Did
So
we fit?
thank you very much.